Syracuse Orange fans, can you feel the heat?
What is going on, Cuse Nation? Welcome to Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and thank you for joining me. I got a fantastic show for you here today as we preview and predict the 2019 Syracuse Orange football schedule. It's the perfect time of year to do so, mid-July. It's that real turning point between the off-season and the preseason. All the podcasts out there are flaring up, and everybody is excited because there's a lot of noise around this college football season, especially in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And one of the biggest reasons for that, none other than our Syracuse Orange. A lot to talk about here, a lot of excitement, a lot of expectation going into this season. Now, will they be able to hold up to that? I certainly hope so, and I also think and believe so as well. Now, we're going to do other videos later on. We're really going to dive into the whole the depth chart, talk about what I expect out of the depth chart, different changes that might occur, how Tommy DeVito is going to perform at quarterback, how the offensive line is going to hold up, key position roles that need to be taken over, such as the linebacker position, which, by the way, I think Andrew Armstrong, as well as a few freshmen coming in, are going to do a fantastic job of doing. Dino Babers has done really well at coaching leadership positions such as the quarterback position and the linebacker position. So a lot to look forward to there. A lot of big returning players. On the defensive line, you have Alton Robinson, Kendall Coleman. Big shoes to fill for Chris Slayton, but a lot of players that have the ability to fill that slot. You have players like Andre Cisco, Trill Williams coming into their sophomore seasons, and other big players are ready to contribute once again as well, like Scoop Bradshaw. And this secondary is going to be elite and exciting. I think the defense is going to be the core of this Syracuse football team this season, and we're really going to dive into that later on in other videos. Right now, we're going to talk about the schedule. Now, this Syracuse football schedule is perfectly designed. That's credits to athletic director and staff John Wildhack for this, because it's easy. It's simple. What do you want to do when you're trying to build a program? You want an easy and approachable schedule, because really what matters in this column right here is the wins. Okay? You don't want to stack up L's. Yes, you want to have a strong schedule to show for bowl game eligibility and college football playoff stature, but you also need wins in the column. And when you're trying to get a community to believe and get a community gung-ho about a program, wins in the column is the most important thing above anything else. And John Wildhack has done a really good job, even though it's a little bit of a weaker schedule, of making it a very winnable schedule. And this is a schedule that creates a lot of opportunity to get right back to where we were last year at 10-3, if not even better. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. On August 31st, that's a Saturday at 6 p.m., we're going to kick off the season on the road at Liberty, taking on the Flames. Now, a lot of people might think, hey, this is a walkover game. This is a great way to get everything going. This is a great way to kick off the season with a big W. And yes, I agree with that, but I do want to emphasize the fact that this Liberty team is no joke. Under the head coach Hugh Freeze and a big quarterback transfer from Auburn, Malik Willis, this is not a walkover type football team right here, and especially on the road, this might turn into a little bit of a tough game, kind of like a Western Michigan situation last year. Do I think we're going to get the win? Absolutely. So I'm going to put it right there on the column right there, a big W for the Orange. It is definitely going to be a little bit challenging. It could turn into a bit of a scoring back and forth deal towards the beginning of the first half. Could be a little bit back and forth till we start to tread water a little bit, catch our feet. The defense catches on, because I did mention that we're going to have an electrifying defense, and I believe the defense will be the strong suit to this 2019 football team's success. And I think we're going to pull away towards the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, really turn it into our ball game. Probably going to win this. This is going to be close, so to speak. But when I say close, I'm not talking like a one-possession game. Probably not even a two-possession game. You're probably talking about 2 touchdowns and a field goal, maybe just 2 touchdowns. Somewhere around that mark is my expectations for this game. Or we could go ahead and blow them out of the water. One or the other. They're going to give us a little bit of fits early in the first half, but nonetheless, that's going to be a win in the column. Following that, the next weekend on a Saturday at noon kickoff, we are heading down to College Park, Maryland to take on the Terps. And this is a game that I'm really excited for. Some people are calling this a trap game, so to speak. I'm actually going to be heading to this game. So, Grandpa, if you're watching, we're heading down there to College Park for a big game. Grandma as well. And super, super excited about that. Now, the reason they're calling this as a trap game is because of this right here, Clemson, okay? And they're thinking that Syracuse is going to have their eyes set on Clemson, might do some previous preparation. And I know from experience on the lacrosse field, sometimes you can overlook teams in preparing for a bigger game down the road. And Maryland's kind of a no-joke football team. A lot of drama in that program last year, a head coaching change. So exciting. The fan base is going to be excited. I'm expecting a packed stadium here. Nonetheless, I do think Syracuse is going to avoid the trap and come out with a win. Syracuse just has so much talent this season, so much hype and expectation. And Dino Babers is such a fantastic coach. There's a lot of podcasts out there that I've been listening to, actually tons, countless, and a lot of people are high on Dino Babers. People that aren't even Syracuse fans are really high on Dino Babers. We're just going to be simply too prepared, too overpowered, too overmatched, and too talented. And we're going to take down the Terps with this one. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You could be looking at a one-possession ball game. But the defense is going to hold up, and the offense is just going to override. So I'm going to put a win in the column there. Now, this right here, I'm going to put a star next to it, and we're going to come back to that Clemson game. Here's why. We're going to start the 3 big games throughout the season, and we're going to come back to them at the end and really talk about what it's going to take to win those games, how we're going to do it, what the expectations are, and then give a final prediction. So we're going to come back to the Clemson game, and now we move on to Western Michigan. Now, Western Michigan is a game in which it really should be kind of a cakewalk. Once again, their team in their program is kind of on a downslope. We took care of business pretty much with ease last season. So Western Michigan, especially because it's in the Dome, I'm going to put that down as a win, certainly. Just because, again, overpowered, over-talented. Could be a game where they hang around for the first quarter, second quarter, maybe give us some fits. But after the half, into the second half, I really think Syracuse is going to take care of business here. Tommy DeVito should have a field day. It's a weak secondary from Western Michigan, and that's really what gave us a lot of success last year was throwing the football. Dungy also had a field day running the ball. Now, you don't have that luxury, but that also opens opportunity for our running backs to have a field day as well, and we're going to be in the Carrier Dome for that. So I really don't see Western Michigan giving us many problems. Second game of the year, I'm expecting at least 60 points scored. Or excuse me, not second game of the year, but second game here on this slate. These 2 easy cupcakers, so to speak. I'm going to put that as a win as well. Holy Cross, unlike Liberty, they're not new. Liberty's a new program with excitement and hype around it. Holy Cross, just your basic FCS school here. We have history with them. We played them a lot back in the the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We played them a lot back then. But again, nothing expected here. I'm expecting nothing short of a 63-0 or 7 blowout here. So I think Syracuse certainly takes care of business. Then moving on, you have a bye week, and the bye week is really nice here because placing this bye week is good because you get kind of into your deeper slate here with your chunk of your ACC competition. And from here on out, it is all conference play. And then right here, we're going to put another star and come back to this NC State game. That's going to be on the road on a Thursday night. Kind of tough there, and we're going to come back to this. Next, you have Pittsburgh in the Dome. Now, Pitt is a team that year in and year out gives us a fantastic game. Back in the Big East, last year they beat us, and we were a better team last year by far. And they still beat us with their run game. They're always a hard-nosed football team. They play tough. They're our rivals, so to speak. And Pitt always just gives us fits. And I really think that this game is going to be down to the wire. It really always is between us two. I think we're going to come away with a win here. And I hesitate on that a little bit just because of how competitive Pittsburgh usually is with us. And it's kind of funny. Usually when we go down there, we take a loss, and when we come up here, when they travel up to the Dome, we take a win. So that's the reason I'm going to put the W, is we're playing them at home in the Carrier Dome, which certainly gives us an advantage. The fan base is going to be hyped, as it will be all season. It's going to be rocking in the Dome this season, and that's why I give us a win, as well as their run game's not the same this year. Both Quadre Olison and Darren Hall have moved on to the National Football League and beyond, and the program's just not exactly the same. It's going to take a little bit to get that run game that they're so known for going again, because those are two elite running backs, and those are big shoes to fill. Next here at Florida State is going to be our third and final star here, and that is going to be a tough game as well. Now, I know the Seminoles were absolutely dreadful last year, and it was disappointing to anybody who's a Florida State fan because of what that program typically is historically. And I got to say, though, Willie Taggart is a good coach. Can be mediocre at times. He had success 10-2, so it was kind of a Dino Babers situation, casually moved up. Now, we went 4-8, 4-8, 10-3. And on the other side, Willie Taggart of Florida State was at University of Central Florida. They kept going slowly up. It was like a 4-8, then like a 6-6, then like an 8-2. Then you hit their 10-3 mark and their 10-win season. So Florida State's going to be up in the air. New quarterback at the helm. They just released the other day that instead of Alex Hornibrook, the transfer from Wisconsin, they are going to go with Blakeman for the start for the Seminoles as far as the beginning of the season goes at the quarterback position. Interesting there. Francois gone. Now Taggart's getting his recruits in. He's getting his system. And you got to remember, Florida State's an elite program. These are still 5-star recruits. These are still phenomenal football players going there. So no matter what, that causes a little bit of concern, if you know what I mean. So after that, following the next week, we have Boston College inside the Carrier Dome. Now, again, a team like Pitt usually gives us a little bit of trouble, usually a back-and-forth game. Last year, we went down to Chestnut Hill and absolutely obliterated Boston College, beat them physically, mentally, all across the spectrum. We beat them. Now, Steve Adazio, in my opinion, is the ultimate mediocre of the Atlantic Coast Conference. I mean, they've consistently been like 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, but they haven't gotten over that hump, really, so to speak. So Boston College, always a tough game, but this late in the season, they're really depending on A.J. Dillon, and they just ground and pound with him until he gets hurt. And season in and season out, he's injured himself because unlike other running backs, like Clemson has many options at running back, as well as we do. Unlike that, Boston College slams it down every team's throat with A.J. Dillon, and he just can't handle that. He can't handle that 50 carries a game type situation, whereas other guys at Clemson, Travis Etienne, getting like 25, 30. So, and he's an elite running back as well. So they're really not sharing the wealth there. The thing with this offense is they're returning almost all of the offense except one offensive lineman. The defense is always weak. The secondary is almost pathetic. So with this Boston College team, I'm going to put a win because of how late it is in the season. At that point, Boston College usually tends to be pretty tattered and beat up with their play style. And that's why I'm going to give us a win here. Following that, you have a bye week. And after that, that's kind of a much-needed bye week. Breaks things up a little bit. Some tough games right here. This is a tough slate. At NC State, Pitt, at Florida State, and Boston College. That's the thick of the ACC Atlantic, besides Clemson, of course, and ourselves. So a nice, much-needed bye week here. And then we have our second Coastal Division matchup here. First, you played Pitt, and now you're playing against the Duke Blue Devils. And this is a road game, so that causes a little bit of question mark there. We handled playing on the road fairly well last season, though, obviously, with our record. And this is not the same team, though. You know, quarterback's gone, on to the NFL, okay? And the coach is doing a good job there, but they're never a team that's really gotten over the hump. And for that reason, I'm going to put a win, okay? Jones is just gone. He's on to the New York Giants. It's not going to be the same. And it's going to take a year or two to fill in those shoes. So I'm going to put a definite win there for the Q. Some people may beg to differ with that. Duke is certainly a good football team, but I'm going to put a win there. Then at Louisville. Louisville obviously is going to be a little bit better this season, but I certainly think that's going to be a win right there. And I know I'm putting a lot of wins here, but I really think we have a fantastic football team. Louisville, there's so much of a mess there to rebuild on that I don't think they're going to be that good this year. I think they might improve. You're going to see like a 5-win football team, but I really don't think they're going to get over any kind of hump. It's going to take some time. They're just in such a bad spot where they are, and there's so much of a mess to clean up. So I'm going to put a win there. And Juwan Puma Pass, really struggling at the quarterback position. He's not the answer for the Cardinals. Lamar Jackson's gone, and that just goes to show how much one quarterback can make a difference in college football, especially when they can use their feet. It's kind of amazing. And it's one of the only sports that you could have that instant impact. After that, Wake Forest travels up to the Dome. And this, I wanted to put a star for this really bad. I really wanted to put a star for this, but I decided to keep it to 2. And honestly, the only reason I'm keeping the NC State one and not this one as switching them out for the star is I believe this makes a difference. You're playing them on the road, and it's on a Thursday night, which causes a little bit of concern. Other than that, Wake Forest is a tough game. Wake Forest is a team that is absolutely on the rise. Fantastic quarterback there for the Demon Deacons. A solid running game. The defense is getting better. And they're going to be deadly through the air most of all, though. And this is a Wake Forest team that continues to get better. Last season, they gave us a little bit of a fight there till later on in the game. And I think they're going to be more improved. I think they're a dark horse in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I think your top dog going into the season in everybody's eyes is Clemson, which is as to be expected. I think second right there is Syracuse, and I really believe that in the Atlantic anyways, Wake Forest is right there, and they could make a leap at any time in these next couple of years. Obviously, looking at the Coastal, you have Virginia and Miami. Virginia is fantastic on the rise under Bryce Perkins and that great coaching staff as well. But watch out for Wake Forest. It's in the Dome. It's late in the year. I think as long as everybody on the Orange is healthy, which is going to be crucial, I think that's a W, a very close game. I mean, I'm talking a game that comes down to one possession, kind of who has the ball last. Really exciting to not top things off in the Dome here. Just exciting stuff looking forward. And then right here, you have the ACC championship after that. And guys, this is a question mark, okay? We could very well be in this football game, the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship. Unfortunately, we're not in the Coastal Division. And with that, you have a situation like last year where Clemson played Pitt. Now, Pitt's a 7-win football team, and they're in the ACC championship last year. Syracuse is the second best team in the ACC last year, and they don't get that opportunity because they lost on the road to Clemson. So, unfortunately, our ACC championship situation is really going to be all determined right here against Clemson. And it all comes down to week 3, and that just builds so much more hype and noise around Syracuse in that situation on September 14th inside the Carrier Dome at 7:30 on ABC. So excited. I just can't believe you're going to have Kurt Herbstreit and Chris Fowler in the building making the call on the game. And it's the game of the night. The nation's going to be watching. College game day is going to be there. It's just, there's so much hype and noise. I really think we have a good shot at being in this game as long as we stay poised, stay healthy, and then you have bowl season, of course, to end off the season. Right here, we're going to project our record finally in a little bit. Now, looking back to the key star games right here. Florida State right here. Oops, I wrote that in the wrong spot. I wrote a question mark for Florida State. That's not what I meant to do there. But at Florida State, again, tough game. Willie Taggart, great coach, and if you're going to slip up anywhere this season besides the Clemson game, it's going to be here or possibly here. I don't think you're going to slip up against Boston College and Pitt. They're kind of on what I see is a little bit of a low. I don't think you're going to slip up against Duke. Louisville's certainly not going to happen. I think it's going to be Florida State, or it's going to be NC State, or even, like I said, possibly Wake Forest. Now, Florida State, I'm going to put a win. It's going to take a little bit more time for Willie Taggart to really figure things out, and it's just tough. And the big reason, too, is Syracuse has never won a game at Doak Campbell Stadium, so that's a little bit of incentive and fire that drives this football team and this coaching staff. A win there, a tough win. I'm talking one-possession game. We've hung around with Florida State. We played at Doak Campbell Stadium 2 years ago with the same quarterback at the helm, of course, different coach, obviously, Jimbo Fisher. But we hung in there and we missed a field goal to send it into overtime. So we were in that ball game 110%. And then after that, you destroy them at the Dome. So I think that's a win right there. It's going to be a tough game, though. And that's going to go down kind of a last possession type situation, I believe, as well, because it's going to be a loud stadium. And then at NC State, tough. I have to put the loss somewhere. And I really believe it's going to have to be here, and here's why. I know we're coming off a bye week. And I know, your big shot quarterback, he's gone. Ryan Finley's gone. But they're returning a lot of players here. They have a solid secondary and a fantastic wide receiver core. Emeka Mezi's back. Kelvin Harmon. They're almost all returning for the Wolfpack. And it's on the road. It's on a Thursday night, which is kind of a weird situation. You're coming off the bye week. But if there's room for mistake, it's going to be right there. And it's so weird we're playing on a Thursday, then a following Friday. They don't even give us to the Saturday. That's a little bit weird. I think the loss comes here this season. And we'll get into the Clemson game as well. But I think out of the whole schedule, these are the two most losable games right here. And NC State's given us a tough time year in and year out. We've really only beat them once inside the Carrier Dome. And we were close the year before, 2 seasons ago. But really, this is a tough team on the road on a Thursday night. I'm going to put a loss right there. Because there's so much experience, so many good players returning. They're going to get the quarterback position filled out. That's what's really it's going to come down to is the quarterback position. That's where I'm going to put our slip up right there. Looking at the Clemson game, so excited. It's crucial to get through these two so-called trap games and get to this so we get College Game Day and the noise stays there. And there's so much hype around this game. It's unbelievable. Guys, I really think we stand a shot at winning this. Clemson's fantastic. Trevor Lawrence, arguably the best quarterback in college football right now. Travis Etienne, fantastic running back. There's just so much depth there. But their defensive line is almost all gone to the NFL. And I know Dabo Swinney can coach one up very well, but that's a huge good sign for us. That's going to give our offensive line an opportunity to hold up, give Tommy DeVito some time. And we're deadly through the air. Nykeem Johnson's back. Taj Harris is back. Tristan Jackson's here. Sean Riley's back. There's some newcomers up in the wide receiver core. We're going to explode the run game, especially through that defensive line with Abdul Adams, Jarvian Howard. Mo Neal, who just, by the way, today I saw is on the watch list for running back of the year. Alton Robinson could possibly have a field day. It's going to be a good offensive line, but we got to their quarterback last year. And a lot of those guys are returning, and other guys are graduated as well. So I think we're going to have no problems getting to Trevor Lawrence, putting pressure on him. That's going to be a big key to the game. Force a few bad throws. Let Trill Williams and Andre Sisco and Itafu Melifonwu have some opportunity to get some interceptions, create a few turnovers. Guys, we're in this ball game. We're right there with them, and you're fighting for that slot in the ACC championship. And I still think if you win this game and lose this game, you're still in the ACC championship because it's a situation where Clemson has a loss and we have a loss, and then we hold the tiebreaker in that situation. If we were both to win out if they were to win out from there on and we were to lose to NC State, we'd still get in this game because of the tiebreaker win against Clemson. And that still allows for a college football playoff opportunity. So I really think I'm putting it. And I'm putting against every podcast I've watched so far this summer. Syracuse will defeat Clemson inside the Carrier Dome on September 14th. You heard it here on Orange Heat. Quote it. Call me on it, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it so much as we talk about this season, because the season's really determined week 3. You could still get to where we were last year if you lose that game, but you're not going to get over that hump of the ACC championship and college football playoffs without that. And we're right there. I think we're closer than a lot of teams. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think we're closer than teams like Texas. I think we're closer than teams like West Virginia. I think we're closer than some good SEC teams like the Florida Gators and the tennis, and honestly Georgia. Georgia's going to struggle. They're a ground and pound team, and they're right up the middle. And if they don't have that option this year, they're going to struggle a little bit. So I think we're closer than a lot of teams. I think we're closer than a Notre Dame team as well, who's losing some experience. So I really think we're this close, and this game is going to be the biggest test. And it's early on in this season. It allows so much opportunity, so much noise. It's just so much hype around this season. And there's people out there believing, I watch College Football Live. I watch a million podcasts. People are high on Dino Babers in Syracuse and really excited about it, as well as us in the fan base. I'm putting a win there, guys. That's going to put our final prediction right here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, and 1. That's my prediction for the 2019 Syracuse Orange football season. 11-1 as your final record, and that leaves opportunity for an ACC championship. Hell, I think you're going to play in that game. You're going to play somebody like a Miami on the rise with Manny Diaz. Possibly Justin Fuente could have Virginia Tech in there, but I honestly think the biggest underdog in the Coastal Division, who I really think we're going to be seeing in the ACC championship game, is going to be Virginia. Fantastic team on the rise, and I'd love to see that, because that's two teams who really are elevating and kind of revolutionizing the conference in a season together like that, if that becomes the case. And if you win that game, which that would be a tough game, by the way, you're going on to the college football playoffs. And I know it sounds insane and crazy, but there's no sign of decline here. Everybody's returning besides basically Chris Slayton, Eric Dungy, and Jamal Custis. And those are shoes to fill. Tommy DeVito's fantastic in Dino Babers' system. This system's designed around a pocket passing quarterback. We finally get to see it, and he has an absolute arm. I cannot stress that enough. I'm just watching highlights from last season. Dungy's slow with it on his release. And Tommy DeVito, when he throws the deep ball, it's a flick. It's so fast, and it's so much faster than Dungy. He throws it such a different way, and he has so much more strength behind it the way he throws. And they got him in the weight room. Just exciting things. Tommy DeVito's fantastic. The defensive line is going to be so good. The defense is going to be the core of the team. The run game is going to get going. The receivers are all back. Everybody's back. A year better, a year stronger. This team is legit. And I'm telling you right now, we have a chance at the college football playoffs. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure. I love being up here talking about my favorite team in the world. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Can't emphasize enough how important that is. Share this with your friends. Share this with your fellow Cuse fans. Hell, you're taking a shower. You're riding the bus, whatever. Put on some Orange Heat. Let people listen to it. It's a voice that needs to be heard in the Syracuse Orange Nation. And I'm going to try and broaden our horizons a little bit. And in the future, we're going to be doing a preview and prediction for the entire Atlantic Coast Conference as the summer goes along. We're going to talk about the top coaches. We're going to get together with Sean and Joe from the Cuse Militia podcast. We're going to do some more interviews. I already got it in the works, talking to some football players. We're going to have them on the show. Exciting things. Spread the word. Let's get Orange Heat back to where it was before and even better and beyond. Thank you, guys. Let's go Orange, baby. Woo!
Thank you for listening to Orange Heat, done by pursuing sports broadcaster and high school student Giovanni Heater. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram at GioHeater. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Syracuse athletics and Orange Heat action. Let's go Orange!